start streaming. So let me see where we're streaming. Let's see. So are you on Facebook? Are you on? You have your own channel? Justin, do you have your own channel?
No.
Well, that might be a good thing, because here I am trying to do this, and let's see. Looks like we are live right now. Woohoo! Okay, so we did it. All right. So what we have right now is our very first episode of Special Needs Legal Hour with Attorney Filis and my special guest, Justin. Justin, say a little bit about yourself.
I'm Justin on the autism spectrum. I was diagnosed back in 1985. I was 3 years old at Texas Children's, and I'm a self-advocate and public speaker for autism as well.
Yes, you are, and I've been really excited to do this with you, because we've done a couple of other things together online, and then also on a radio station. And so this month is very important. I'm sure everybody knows this is Autism Acceptance and Awareness Month. And you have had a lot of engagements this month, and still some to come. Kind of tell everybody what you've already done this month.
Basically, I've done a couple of public speaking events, basically for like Mark School, the Arc of Fort Bend, Richmond Road Club, Avondale House, basically in Texan Cafe.
Awesome. All right. So I know, and I have a little video going over here. We're lunch buddies, and we are going to meet up later on next week for lunch. Okay, so you are an adult with special needs, and your special needs, your diagnosis is autism. With that, you have a lot of insight that you share with different people, including police officers, correct? So tell us a little bit about CIT, Crisis Intervention Team, that I guess HPD has.
Also about autism, it's crucial to understand the concept of people with autism, basically how to handle a situation, basically, and go by it and go with certain procedures and standards, basically, on it.
So my understanding,
how to handle a situation, basically, as well. You know, we'll want to wind up in that situation. We'll try to avoid the handcuff situations as well, if possible.
So you've seen a lot of different groups of officers, and I know that officers have to be aware that, you know, someone may be dangerous if they're acting a little odd or different. So what are some of the things that you try to explain to officers about behaviors that they may see in people with autism?
Just keep the situation in a good way, wise to handling it, and basically go by it in a smoothly way. And, I mean, basically, talking about my little PowerPoint presentation as well, on certain things you can do wise, basically, you know, how to help with the situations.
So you have done a lot of different presentations, including over at Avondale House.
Yep.
And
so
I
was talking to the leadership team, basically, about you know, the autism aspects as well.
So what is Avondale House? Is that a ABA clinic?
No, it's a basic company, an organization that helps more people on autism spectrum employment to schooling and everything else basically they provide at their place.
So I have a lot of families that reach out to me whenever they first get a diagnosis, or they're still kind of in the stage where they're trying to figure out if their child has autism or not. You said, how old were you whenever there was a diagnosis for you?
Three.
Okay. And
I mean, that's most more common age-wise that people get the diagnosed basically for autism.
about 3 years old. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you, I know autism is a broad spectrum. My son's on the spectrum. When he was diagnosed, it was non-threshold autism. Then it was labeled PDD-NOS. And then it was just thrown into the autism spectrum for, all by itself. What are you seeing is, you've seen kids that are nonverbal and then kids that are able to speak.
I mean, yeah, there's a good variety of, basically kids on the autism spectrum. You've got some are verbal, some are nonverbal. You got basically high functioning and like me-wise who can do things more independently and social and have a job basically. And you got ones that are need more support on a day-to-day basis, basically who are nonverbal or basically need more day-to-day support-wise, basically.
So I know that at least for giving legal advice, I try to inform people if they do think that their child has a disability that they need to contact their school district. There's a federal mandate called Child Find, and states are required to try to find children within their state who may benefit from special education services.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the plan, each child with autism have RBs, IEPs, have an RBs, and have parents and teachers, assistant principal, basically have a plan for the child, what accommodations they need, basically.
So I have talked to people about special education services, but also Section 504, which offers some accommodations, but it's not. I don't think it's as strong as a having an IEP. Can you tell us a little bit about what IEP stands for or what it might contain?
More individual plan for each child that's on the autism spectrum, because each child has it's like basically like the same thing when they have them in the ADA. Basically, each child has their own work on goals to achieve wise for motor skills and behavior. Basically, basically that's more for IEP. The schools wise accommodations they need wise, like are testified and basically work with certain people wise, like an aid for the T classroom, basically to more go like be able to give them the more transition programs, things like that when they get older, basically.
So I know that with IEPs, those are contracts that the school district has with the parents or the family to make sure that their child, who's a student in the school district, is in the best situation that they can be in to achieve their educational goals. And if parents are seeing that their child is being shortchanged, they can call an ARD meeting at any time and go over the IEP and discuss how it's being violated and hopefully get that situation rectified so that their child does get the accommodations that they need. Have you heard of cameras in the classroom?
While I was in school, that wasn't such a thing, but
Right.
basically it made, especially with a teacher being,
I have seen a lot of stories that are being abused at the in school. Now, cameras in the classroom, that is a legal right that parents have for their kids if their children are in self-contained classrooms. And that's what for a lot of the kids that are maybe nonverbal, they need more, I guess, maybe one-on-one care or maybe a paraprofessional with 2 or 3 kids only, and then all day long they're in that same self-contained classroom. So those types of classrooms are eligible for the cameras in the classroom, where the camera will be in the classroom and parents can request that the footage be evaluated, especially when their child who may be nonverbal comes home with extra bruises, scratches, maybe starts behaving differently where they don't want to go back to school. And it's so difficult for these families to figure out what exactly you can do to find out what happened. So that's where cameras in the classroom are very beneficial. But yeah, that is a kind of a newer thing. Now, when you were in high school, did you graduate and leave as soon as you were 18, or did you get to stay in the 18 plus
Pretty much
program?
I did, wise, because it was a transition program for a year, wise, where basically got some people from the school district were helping sell in the college environment or trying to find a job in the workforce, basically.
So now I know that some students, if they've received special education services, especially if their child qualifies for extended school year, where they're able to get summer school basically, or they're able to get educational services all year round because it's been discovered that their child, if there's too long of a break between, I guess, May and when they go back to school, that child loses a lot of the ground that they've been able to achieve, or that they've covered, and getting different skills learned. And so they'll lose some of those skills, and they'll be behind and have to start over from beginning. And so a lot of kids that qualify for extended school year also qualify for the 18 plus program.
Yeah.
But let's say they're a child who does receive special education services, but are also at the level that you were at, where you were able to graduate with your peers.
Yep.
So, what did you do right after school? High school.
Basically, basically trying to get in the workforce or see what college, what course I want to take to at the college, basically.
Yeah, transitioning into adulthood.
Computer classes, basically. So, and of course, like to do some part-time work.
So, for you and your family, transitioning into adulthood meant you going to, didn't you say, I think it was Wharton Junior College?
Basically, as well.
Mm-hmm. And you obtained a lot of certificates?
Yep.
All right. And since then, I know that you've been at Bluesprig for what, 4 years now?
Yep.
Great, great. And what can you, so data entry clerk, what can you tell other kids that are similarly situated to you? Because I know you've talked about job training and job opportunities at like the ARC of Fort Benton and the Monarch School. So if you're talking to a parent whose kid's about to graduate, and I know that like with HCC, there's the Vast Academy. You know, what do you recommend that these parents investigate as far as options for their children?
Basically, I look at see what they're interested in, basically, and see what their goals are and how well they can, more function independently. So things to look at, basically, to attend the classes skills wise kind of things just to see where they want to go wise. Before, assess the things before, like dropping money at college courses and having where they do some volunteering, see what they do that for work wise.
Great, great. Now, I understand you have maybe some slides that you have from some of your presentations.
Okay.
You mind sharing some with us?
Yeah.
All right.
Basically, from like my background to facts wise to the autism, basically on basically to the employment to basically adults on autism, so 8% employed, underemployed, basically down some wage to satisfy, but it won't work like basically like I do. And just do more work. And they also should be more IT field, basically do different, like me, that entry or I put some retail with myself. Basically a lot of trial and errors, basically in the work field. You just also get some mind wise on the side too. And also good learning curve, basically what you manage, basically what are like how many hours you can work and like what's standing your feet sitting down. There's like some people you work with, your boss, different learning curves, basically on that merit.
Awesome. So, college is on the table for some people, even part-time. Volunteer work is smart to help try and get people involved in, I guess, figuring out what exactly makes sense for them. What's been your favorite nonprofit? I think I know, but go ahead and tell us.
Basically, I mean, board there for 3 wise, and basically they've been a valuable resource as well. Basically, a big front. I know it from IT talks and activity events like the golf event and all of activities basically they've done over the years. The jigsaw puzzle event, basically, as well.
Nice. I think you need to get off a share screen.
Right.
Oh, you are?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Well, I don't know what I did to lose you. Let's see. Thankfully, Justin is very understanding because I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing with this one right here. Yeah, that one too. All right. Let's see, Justin. Go ahead and share your screen again. Nope. All right. All right, Justin. I think I messed you over somehow.
Cool. Yeah, you can still hear me, so.
I can hear you. Yep, everybody can hear you. So tell me a little bit. We were talking about you and all the different events that you've done lately. Now, I have on the slideshow, you were awarded, and it just passed up in 2019 over at Hope for Three. Their strikeout. Is it called the strikeout event or what is it called?
Yeah, that was something they did back then, basically. It was also before COVID, basically. So, all that stuff that happened
Now I've seen, and I was kind of surprised. I saw that the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, they put out a statistic that 1 in 36 kids are now being diagnosed as being on the spectrum.
Yeah.
So I remember, I guess it was 2016. I remember 1 out of 54 kids, but now it's 1 out of 36.
When I was born, it was like the numbers were not as where they are today.
Yeah. So we're seeing a lot more children on the spectrum, and I'm also seeing a lot more siblings
Mm-hmm.
that are on the spectrum. So
I mean, yeah, 'cause I mean, I know it feels like almost like people I talk to, somebody knows somebody who's on the autism spectrum just on a day-to-day basis. Feel like nowadays, so from what I've been hearing too, and just where it's our professionals to family members to anybody, basically has a child on the autism spectrum.
Right. So I have my son, but I am seeing that we've expanded, at least in Harris County, we've expanded and added a new probate court, and I'm not sure if the reason is what I think it is, but I see that we have a lot of guardianships, and those are held in family, sorry, not family, but they're held in probate courts. And so we've just added our 5th probate court in Harris County. And Harris County does serve a lot of people, but I'm wondering if there's a correlation because there may be an uptick in the number of guardianships that they have in Harris County. Do you know anything about guardianships?
I mean, I know a few in there, but it's a very thin line. I look at it because it has to do with why and what you can and can't do. I mean, so look at it. It's a case by it's the same thing like the schools and the ABA thing, like the do's and don'ts and what's the act bill basically for like for me I don't have anything like that, but basically it's my way. I look at also vote, sign all papers, like those things. That's how I look at it. There's certain rights you want to keep for a child. I look at it.
Right. If you can, there's a lot of kids that can't, that cannot take care of themselves at all. So for the kid that I guess Filis Law Firm represents, most of them it is for kids that have that their capacity levels are such where they can't read and understand legal documents like power of attorney or medical power of attorney. So I know that that's a big deal for parents because they've been, at least in Texas, if you're a parent, you're your child's natural guardian up until they're 18. And then when they're 18, they are, those children are acknowledged by the state as their own, as adults with all their rights and responsibilities. And with some of our kids that they cannot read, they cannot take care of themselves. They need their parents to continue doing for them what they have been doing for the past 18 years. I know that's hard to say that we're going to take away their rights, these kids' rights, but the reality of the situation is they need the help. And then that's where the attorneys come in and the courts come in. We have an attorney ad litem that's appointed. That's the attorney for the child. And we try to do what's best for that person. And if guardianship is warranted, then parents can end up getting that guardianship over their adult disabled child. But in some cases, if the child is autistic but can make their own decisions on things, like you, and drive and work and, have a full life, then wonderful. Great. We don't go to court. Don't talk to me. Yeah, but talk to an attorney to make sure that your benefits are protected, your eligibility for benefits. So, what you're comfortable about talking, tell us a little bit about benefits.
If the families get like SSI or SSDI or things like Medicaid waiver programs, things like those, it's something you look for. Make sure attorney, make sure you don't get caught in they get too much money or whatever, and Social Security can pull the plug on that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of things you gotta keep in mind.
Right. Okay. So what we're talking about is SSI, and with SSI comes the Medicaid.
Mm-hmm.
And so for a lot of people, they need to understand that their kids are not supposed to have more than $2,000 worth of non-exempt assets, and they can't have a lot of income, money coming in. And so for you, SSI, Medicaid, I know that with Medicaid, you probably are eligible for Medicaid through the waiver programs, right? Can you tell us a little bit about the interest list for Medicaid waiver programs?
Yeah, basically, some of the stuff like there's the waiver programs, basically Houston surrounding areas. You got these organizations, basically, if you live in these counties, and the names of programs, basically, is bit much on the max my screen, but
Yeah, somehow I lost your screen.
some of the websites you can look at, basically, for more information wise. If you have newly diagnosed child autism, basically, it'll suggest get them on those wait lists ASAP, basically. And so it's basically very important wise to get them on there, basically.
So what are we talking about exactly?
I mean, you're waiting basically. I've been hearing families like 20-year wait list, basically, from what I'm hearing nowadays.
Yep. So these waiver programs, I know for a lot of people on community living, um, and HCS will pay for that. But like you said, some of these wait lists, it's almost like 20 years.
Yeah.
Now these are free programs. These are programs offered by the state of Texas, and it's collaboration with federal government, and it's supposed to help supplement Medicaid. And as it comes with well, no, it doesn't come with this. It comes with just Medicaid. It's supposed to help children with disabilities all the way through their lives. And these are lifelong programs. And so who do these people, parents that are looking at these things, who do they talk to?
Basically, like I say, on the websites or the service providers they can talk to, basically. I mean, it's basically on that front wise, on the information wise. I mean, especially once you get enrolled on that, basically, they send you a letter yearly wise to see if you're still interested on the wait list, basically.
Okay. So you're talking about HHS is Health and Human Services Commission.
Mm-hmm.
And what they have is there's about half a dozen Medicaid waiver programs, and half of those are administered at the local level. So I think you had on your slide, you had something about what is Texana? Texana is a local authority.
On the counties they live in, basically.
So whoever the county authority is who you would call and sign up with them for the interest list, which is the waiting list for Medicaid waiver programs.
Mm-hmm.
But then also at the state level, there's about 3 or 4 programs that you can have your child's name added to the interest list. And so that's Health and Human Services. And every state has some type of Medicaid waiver programs. So even though we're specifically talking about what we know in Texas, it can be any state in the United States. You would just want to first reach out to Health and Human Services Commission. Okay. So then we have the Health and Human Services Commission, your local authority. You get your child's name on the list. You answer a few questions. What's the kid's diagnosis, Social Security, your address, and then you wait. Do you know how long it was before your parents were able to get benefits for you?
14 from mine.
You were 14 or you waited 14 years?
Waited 14.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And so 14 years, that's a long time. My son's been on the interest list for a long time. There's not really much we can do at this point, right?
No.
Just kind of wait. It would be nice if the state legislature, they would maybe open up some additional spots.
Right now, it's like a bill in Texas right now, Senate, that's the schools are supposed to provide that information once it gets passed wise, and hopefully by next year or so, be put in the law, basically.
Yes. So I think so one of the very sad things that I've run across is that a lot of parents, by the time they come looking to talk to me at Filis Law Firm for guardianships, their kids are 17 because you can file for guardianships as early as 6 months before the 18th birthday. So the parents call, they come in for an appointment, and I go over, whatever it is about guardianship. And then I ask them, are you receiving services for your child? No. Are they on the interest list for the Medicaid waiver programs? And then a lot of times it seems like I'm going to be fake. These people are going to look at me with blank stares and they don't know what I'm talking about. And it's just like, I give them homework for that day. I say, you're going to call these 2 numbers and you are going to tell them the information. I have a form where it has a lot of the questions that are asked so the parents can have everything in one spot, and then they'll start, they'll have everything ready for when they make those 2 phone calls, and then they finally put their children on the interest list. But if only these parents would have known about these interest lists, about these waiver programs.
By the time they get probably their numbers come around, they're probably in their 30s.
I know.
Basically, instead of in their 20s, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's sad that we don't have as much information out there. But, I don't know. When I got my son diagnosed, I got a bunch of paperwork from the doctor. Maybe that information was in there. I don't know. I know I was overwhelmed. I have no idea about doctors handing that stuff out. It would be nice, right? Or the schools. But you said there's a bill out right now with the Texas Senate.
The schools have to provide that basically information, but it's not. Like I said, it's sitting in the Texas Senate right now.
Okay.
It went through the House already.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's something to maybe have everyone who's watching this contact their Texas senator and ask them to make sure this goes through.
Right now, of course, there's an election election year, so they're out with campaigning.
Well, they still have offices.
Yeah,
They got
so,
people. I don't know. That's very important because
mhm,
these are services that these children will have for the rest of their lives. It's just
yeah,
they have
no,
to wait so long to get these services.
mhm,
Um, okay, so that was a class I know was a good one. HCS is a good one for kids on the spectrum. And there's a lot of opportunities for parents eventually to get help because I know the first few years when you have a child with on the autism spectrum, if you personally, if the household has too much income or assets, then it's going to be
mhm,
hard to qualify to get any kind
yeah,
of government assistance for
mhm.
your child. And so, ABA
And that's where,
therapy,
them
huh?
being independent comes into play more as well.
The what?
The independence thing comes into play more too, because they're not counting the parents' assets and everything.
Yes. So when the child turns 18, instead of looking at the household income, Social Security Administration, who administers SSI and Medicaid, they're now only looking to the child's income and assets, not the whole household.
Hmm.
So, but you can hopefully, if you sign up your child on the interest list for Medicaid waiver programs, hopefully those children will start receiving benefits from those services
Hmm.
programs before they're 18. So you'll have
Yeah.
some type of financial relief. I know
Hmm.
with a lot of families with children with special needs, I think the average cost to raise a child who's on the spectrum is so much more than
Yeah.
raising a typical child because you have, ABA therapy, speech therapy, OT, PT, may in
Yeah.
some
Some of that stuff
cases.
can be provided by the school, like occupational. I know when I was in school, had a speech therapy and occupational therapy, a whole out class for probably about an hour or so a day, a week, or for either speech or occupational therapy.
Well, that's a long time because um, lately what I've been seeing with schools, when you do
Or even
qualify for
they have that.
related
I've seen
services.
stuff like that happen in the ADA field too, where you have somebody like that working with a child basically for with speech therapists and occupational therapists too.
No, and those are important, but the problem is it's very limited what they provide at the school level. I mean, there is a requirement for these related services to typically in the IEP to also provide speech therapy, like you said, OT, or even in some cases for some of our other kids, physical therapy. But it's only geared towards helping the child do better in an educational setting.
Hmm.
So, and with my son, with Jonathan, when we were taking him, my mom and I were taking him to speech therapy. It was for 45 minutes, one on one with the speech therapist, and it was private pay or insurance. If insurance would pay for it. But at school, where he qualifies for speech therapy, it's like 15 minutes for the pull out, and there's like usually a couple more kids that are also together with the therapist receiving the speech therapy. So yes, it is helpful. It's better than nothing, but it's limited. And so those costs to take your child outside of school to speech therapy, occupational therapy, ABA therapy, those are expensive. And then
Hmm.
going to a pediatric neurologist to get the initial diagnosis in the first place. Also, there's comorbidity a lot for kids that are on the spectrum where they'll have like another diagnosis. ADHD, for example, is really big. Um,
Yeah, yeah, it's more common basically the autism thing.
yeah, yeah. And so there you have visits with the psychiatrist, the monthly prescription that you definitely want to have if that helps your child. And so, there's all these additional expenses that you as a parent will have with a child who may be neurodivergent. So, do you like that phrase, neurodivergent?
I mean, it's a varies from person to person. That one basically on that aspects of the whole. I mean, it's the same thing with a lot of other stuff basically.
All right. Yeah, I know some people don't like certain words or certain phrases, and it's just like I just want to get the message, the gist of the message across. Try and advocate for your child and teach them how to advocate for themselves. So you are, from what I've seen repeatedly all over, the internet, you are a self-advocate. So tell us, what do you do to self-advocate?
Basically, just doing speaking presentations, to talking to people, and just trying to get more people to understand the acceptance of the autism aspect as a whole, and trying to get more easier stuff basically for families or like employers or anything like that, just to be understanding basically the concept. I mean, I know I have my strides basically of hitting dead ends, especially when it comes to finding work back in the days, and hand out resumes and hit a dead end wise, or don't hear a time of day from them.
Mm-hmm. So it took a while to find that right employer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's basically what even for my current job, it took a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So we have people that are advocating for their kids, especially, well, first probably with the pediatrician, to convince the pediatrician that there's a need for further testing. Dealing with insurance companies to pay for these therapies. That's interesting. I've been on hold waiting for insurance companies to come back with the right answer for hours at a time. It's a big challenge when you're also trying to work a full-time job to pay for the bills and the therapy bills and the co-pays and all of that. So, it's interesting. Tell us a little bit about Blue Sprig.
Basically, what we do is apply behavior analysis for autism on that entry clerk for them. Like more work behind the scenes, like, well, how about HR, compliance, done some public speaking, basically marketing. So, I mean, I've been with them for 4 years, so it's been real great wise.
Nice. Okay. So Blue Sprig is ABA, so applied behavior analysis is one of the more recommended therapies for people who want to have something to help address their children's behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
Repetition.
Work with kids with behavior and motor skills, basically. So you get them in, basically their goals reach, and send them off to the school, basically.
All right. So, for example, there's some special pens that you can get, or pencils that are blocked off, or instead of being round, to help with the fine motor skills that a lot of kids on the spectrum struggle with in their early years.
I mean, even though I was very young myself, but basically, well, probably having my more skills more is playing video games wise, and reaction to the button, pushing the right button, to playing a game where you die, basically.
Uh-oh.
Kind of things like that, just where it's A, B, or D-pad, or basically, reaction, basically, all the reaction stuff, basically.
Good. All right, so go ahead and play your video games.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So that's for kids that are learning fine motor skills. And they can also get that therapy in conjunction with ABA therapy to help them get along.
Because when I was diagnosed with ADA was non-existent or new or as private pay. There was no insurance at the time.
Okay.
It wasn't really out there was it basically either.
It wasn't as a now. Yeah, I know now. If you look up ABA clinics, at least in the Houston area, you will find a lot of clinics nowadays, which is good. And there's still, even with all the ABA clinics that are out there in the Houston area, there's still a long waiting list sometimes for these parents. I know that there's.
Also have to do sometimes staffing as well. That you work, if you have like an RBT, work with a kid, or you still need more those people, registered technicians to be able to work with the kids, basically.
RBT. So now we do have a certificate, right? What does RBT stand for?
Basically, it's a registered rehab technician. If you start as a BT behavior technician, you do the training basically to become an RBT, or it's collecting data, task analysis, training, DTT, which is discrete trial training, NET, natural environment training, basically collecting data of the kids, basically. So a lot to it. Ethics codes and the HIPAA policies, basically you learn a lot.
Oh, HIPAA. Oh, yeah. Health information protection. So, yeah, HIPAA has some good qualities and some bad ones that people, a lot of people hate HIPAA, but that's fine. I think it's important to make sure that we do protect the health information for people. So there's upcoming events that you have. So you have a webinar coming up on the 24th. That's with Consolidated Planning Group.
Correct.
And what are you going to be talking about?
This is more about some of the Medicaid waiver, Medicaid and SSI stuff, basically more on that topics.
And right now, SSI is at maximum for an individual. It's $943 a month.
I think so. I mean, that's hard to remember on top of my head why that one.
I think it's that amount, and I think I know a lot of people that apply for their children when their children reach age 18. They can become, the parent can be the rep payee on behalf of their child, their adult child with special needs. And I do know that, and I don't know if your parents do this or if they've done this in the past, but if you have a adult child living with you and they are receiving SSI, you as the parent should be charging rent.
I mean, also there's SSDI, basically, which is disability insurance too.
Yeah, but so for a lot of the kids that we deal with that are on the spectrum, they may not have had 10 years worth of work credit.
Yeah.
Or work history, so they may not be able to earn the right to qualify for SSDI. Sometimes I think they can, if, let's say, their parent became disabled, and then they can qualify as an adult disabled dependent child. But typically, a lot of our kids will qualify for SSI and Medicaid.
Yeah, because over time, even with the SSI and Medicaid, over time you'll be able to get the Medicare part of it too, basically, for insurance too.
Yes.
Because it seems like on daytime TV commercials, basically if you have Medicare, Medicaid, get these special needs plans and stuff like that.
Wow. Well, also for parents that have children who are disabled and their child is receiving Medicaid, and one of the parents is still covering that child on that parent's employer provided health insurance policy.
I think a lot of it has to do with especially if they're up to age 26 or certain conditions or whatever, they'll still stay on their parent insurance, basically.
Yeah, that's age 26, I think you're right. But in some cases, some employers will cover adult disabled children of their employees for the lifetime of that child, or for however long that parent works for them. And one of the things that parents should be aware of is that there is a program in Texas called Get HIP, and it's HIPP, and that is a program through Health and Human Services Commission. And what it does is it offers you, the parent, a reimbursement check for the amount that's taken out of your paychecks every month that covers the health insurance premium that you pay on, for the health insurance premium that covers somebody with Medicaid. So if mom and dad have a child on the spectrum who has other severe challenges, and they're also on SSI and Medicaid, let's say mom's insurance, mom's employer provides insurance. So the whole family is under mom's insurance that's provided by the employer. And the employer pays half the premium, and then mom gets the other half of the premium taken out of her checks every month. Well, the state of Texas pays for Medicaid. And the state of Texas pays for this program, Get HIP. So what the state of Texas will do through this Get HIP program is do an evaluation. Is it profitable or in their best interest financially, the state of Texas, for them to just pay mom, let's say it's $400 a month is taken out of her paychecks to cover her part of the premiums that cover the whole family. Is it cheaper to just pay mom $400 a month and have her keep her adult disabled child on her health insurance? And then you use that health insurance, the private, the one by the insurance, the health insurance that's provided by the employer. If you keep that insurance as the primary and keep Medicaid as the secondary, the state of Texas may benefit by just paying mom $400 a month, because her insurance will shoulder or pay for the big medical bills that might come with having a child with a disability, such as, like we were saying, if you are on the spectrum, you might be still getting ABA therapy. You might also have a comorbidity with ADHD, so you have psychiatric evaluations regularly. You also have medication. A lot of kids on the spectrum, I've noticed, either have severe allergies, like my son has severe food allergies, or there's a lot of kids on the spectrum that are nonverbal. They also have like gut issues, and so they have to have different medications for that.
Or you like, because I know when autism and anxiety go hand in hand in a
Yes.
way, and you got stuff medications for that stuff too.
Yes. So if all these expenses add up, if it were to be paid by the state of Texas just through Medicaid, it's going to exceed on an average monthly basis more than $400. So what the state of Texas would do is give mom a reimbursement check for what was taken out of her paycheck that covers the health insurance for the whole family, the $400 or whatever, and make sure that she keeps that Medicaid eligible child on her employer provided insurance. So that is one way for a family to recover financially some, get some relief financially. And also it helps out the state of Texas because they're not paying as much in bills, medical bills through Medicaid, because it's a secondary insurance. And so the private insurance is being utilized. So that's just something for parents to think about. If they have a child with special needs who is on Medicaid, whether it's traditional Medicaid or the Medicaid that comes with the waiver programs. So that's what that's one of those tips that we were trying to give to parents to make sure that they are getting as many benefits for their child as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So another tip is what? Getting them on the interest list for the Medicaid waiver programs.
Mm-hmm.
Getting them on the Get Hip program once that child is receiving Medicaid. Now, as far as training for work, you had mentioned as a tip to kind of get your child to maybe volunteer and see if they do like that type of work.
Oh yeah, basically just because I know I did different things myself when I was younger for volunteering, especially when it came to certain things like working in office settings or basically getting more ideas of maybe like also how what courses I want to do for college, especially as well.
And now you're with you just told me earlier today you are now a board member of a local nonprofit.
And Hope for Three basically that happened earlier this year wise, and so certain things I do wise for them more time basically.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it's very important to get your children involved in nonprofits and giving back to the community.
Mm-hmm.
And Hope for Three is a really good one. What is that strikeout, or what's that thing that they have at the stadium?
Well, they did that before COVID, and I think stuff happened over time with the at the stadium, and so now they're doing like the Family Fun Fest basically nowadays.
Which
So
stadium is it at?
it was a Constellation Field.
What county is that in?
Well, then,
Fort Bend. So they can people can find out more information by going to Hope for Three's website.
yeah, hopefor3.org.
And Darla, I met her at a grant writing professional grant writers conference. Very nice, very passionate about what she does. So Hope for Three is a good one. How did that Hope for Three get started? Do you know?
I think it had to do with one of the families who had triplet girls who are all autistic, basically.
Gotcha. All right. Well, there's a lot of great nonprofits. We all know, it's especially here in Houston with Autism Moms of Houston, Cafe Azul, of course, Safe Diversity Communities, which is where I have that Embracing Diversity radio show. So there's a lot of very good nonprofits in the Houston area that also focus on families with children with autism. Gonna try. Do you know anything about Discord?
I heard of it, yeah, like for gaming and stuff, basically. What I heard, basically, used for.
Yes. So I am going to try to figure out how to use Discord for my son's nonprofit that's branched off from Safe Diversity Communities called J&J Autism Voices. And so they're going to try to make it where they have interaction with other kids, I guess playing video games all together. I don't know. Are you still a gamer?
Oh, yeah.
So are you watching the new YouTube, no, not YouTube, Amazon Prime show called Fallout?
I have not, basically, but I know there's a lot more stuff on the line of gaming or has to do with autism, basically, too.
Oh, yeah.
Programs and other stuff.
What is it?
Like gaming stuff, the TV shows that do gaming or like stuff like TV shows that have to do with autism, basically. I see different things like that out there, basically.
Yes, yes. Yep, there's all kinds of things out there. There's a lot more information, but it's up to you as the individual with autism or the parents and family members and friends that want to help out. I mean, the information is out there, and we're available if you need some information. Justin is all over the place with all these different events that you can attend. Even the one with the consultative business planning, that's a YouTube event, right?
Yeah.
And then what's the special thing that's happening tomorrow?
Tomorrow, or is it next week?
That's tomorrow. Isn't that somebody's birthday?
That was my birthday, yeah.
Well, happy birthday, Justin. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. That's it. We're done.
Yep.
Thank you for being so patient. We're going to improve. We'll have you back on, and you're going to be like, oh, how much more smoother it is now. So thank you. Well, you have a good night, and then I guess I'll see you for lunch in the next couple of days.
All right.
All right. Bye.